A narcissist is not just someone who likes to look in the mirror a lot. It is much deeper and more damaging than that. Narcissism is a personality style marked by a deep-seated need for admiration from others. They feel they are special and more important than anyone else. This isn't just high self-esteem. It's an inflated sense of their own importance that is actually quite fragile. Underneath all the bragging and grandiosity is a very insecure person. This insecurity is like a black hole, and they are constantly trying to fill it with attention and validation from the outside world because they cannot generate it from within. This personality is built on a foundation of entitlement and a stunning lack of empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. Narcissists struggle with this greatly. They see other people not as individuals with their own feelings and needs, but as tools or props in their own life story. They expect special treatment and become angry when they do not get it. They believe the world revolves around them, and their needs should always come first. This worldview is not a choice they make day to day. It is the very lens through which they see everything and everyone around them. So, when we talk about a narcissist, we are talking about a person who wears a mask of superiority to hide a deep sense of inadequacy. Think of it like a beautifully decorated cake that is completely hollow on the inside. The outside looks impressive and might even draw you in, but there is no substance to it. This constant need to maintain the mask is exhausting for them and confusing for the people around them. They live in a state of perpetual fear that someone will see behind the curtain and expose them as not so special after all. This fear drives most of their manipulative and hurtful behaviors. Understanding this core insecurity is the key to understanding all their other behaviors. Their grandiosity, their need for control, their rage, and especially their tendency to play the victim all stem from this fragile ego. It is a defense mechanism gone into overdrive. They are not simply difficult people. They are operating from a psychological framework that is fundamentally different from that of an empathetic person. Recognizing this is the first and most crucial step in protecting yourself from the emotional chaos they create. It is not about diagnosing them, but about recognizing a pattern of behavior that is consistently harmful to you. So why does someone who acts so superior constantly claim to be the victim? It seems like a contradiction, but it is central to their survival strategy. Playing the victim is a powerful tool for manipulation. When a narcissist faces criticism or is held accountable for their actions, it feels like a major threat to their fragile self-worth. Their immediate defense is to flip the script. Instead of taking responsibility, they will insist that they are the one being attacked, misunderstood, or wronged. This is known as Darvo, deny, attack, and reverse victim and offender. They deny what they did, attack you for bringing it up, and then reverse the roles, making them the victim and you the aggressor. This victim playing serves several purposes for the narcissist. First, it deflects blame and avoids accountability. If they are the victim, then they cannot possibly be responsible for the problem at hand. This preserves their perfect self-image. Second, it garners sympathy and attention. People naturally feel sorry for a victim, and the narcissist craves this kind of attention. It feeds their need for validation and makes them the center of the story once again. They can rally support from others who only hear their twisted side of the story, isolating the real victim in the process. It is a way to control the narrative completely. Furthermore, this tactic is a way to manipulate and control the people closest to them. By constantly painting themselves as the injured party, they can induce guilt and shame in their partners, family, or friends. You might start to question your own perceptions and reality, a phenomenon known as gaslighting. You may find yourself apologizing for something you didn't even do, just to keep the peace. The narcissist learns that if they cry foul loud enough, you will eventually back down. This reinforces their behavior and teaches them that playing the victim is an effective way to get what they want and avoid any consequences. Ultimately, the narcissist plays the victim because their ego cannot handle the truth of their own flaws and mistakes. Admitting fault would shatter the grandiose illusion they have built around themselves. Their entire sense of self is based on being superior and blameless. Therefore, in their mind, if something has gone wrong, it must be someone else's fault. This isn't just a conscious trick. For many narcissists, they genuinely believe their own distorted version of events. They have told the story to themselves so many times that it has become their reality, a reality in which they are perpetually wronged by a world that just doesn't appreciate their greatness. Recognizing narcissistic victim playing in everyday life can be tricky because it is often wrapped in a package of seemingly real emotions. A common example is when you try to express your feelings about being hurt by something they did. Let's say your narcissistic partner forgot your birthday. When you calmly bring it up, instead of an apology, you get a tirade. They might say, "You know how much pressure I've been under at work. I can't believe you'd be so selfish as to bring this up now. I do everything for this family and this is the thanks I get? You're just trying to make me feel bad." Suddenly, you are the villain for having feelings, and they are the overworked, unappreciated martyr. Another classic example occurs in friendships or family dynamics. Imagine a narcissistic friend who constantly complains about how nobody ever helps them. They will recount stories where they were let down or betrayed. Yet, when you look closely, you realize they create these situations. They might agree to plans and then cancel at the last minute, claiming something came up, but later complain that nobody ever includes them. Or they might loan someone money and then use it as leverage forever, constantly reminding everyone of their generosity while complaining about how they are always taken advantage of. They frame every interaction to highlight their own suffering and others' failings. In the workplace, a narcissistic colleague might take credit for a team's success, but blame a specific person for any failure. If a project they are leading goes wrong, they will not say, "I mismanaged this." Instead, they will say, "I was given an impossible deadline," or "so-and-so didn't pull their weight and it sabotaged the whole project. I worked so hard and they let me down." They will tell this story to the boss and anyone who will listen, positioning themselves as the dedicated employee who was undermined by incompetent or lazy coworkers. This protects their reputation while actively damaging someone else's, all under the guise of being a victim of circumstance. These examples share a common thread: the complete refusal to accept personal responsibility. The narcissists' stories are always missing context and are heavily edited to support their victim narrative. They will conveniently leave out the parts where they were rude, neglectful, or made a mistake. They are masters of the half-truth. Listening for these patterns is key. Do their stories always cast them as the hero or the martyr? Is someone else always the villain? Do they react with disproportionate anger or sadness when faced with minor criticism? These are red flags that you are dealing with someone who uses victimhood as a weapon. Dealing with a narcissist who is constantly playing the victim is emotionally and mentally draining. The most important advice is to protect yourself. The first step is to stop trying to make them see your point of view. You cannot win an argument with them because they are not playing by the rules of logic or fairness. They are playing to win, and winning means protecting their ego at all costs. Engaging in their drama only fuels them. Instead, practice emotional detachment. Think of yourself as a scientist observing a strange phenomenon. Recognize the behavior for what it is, a manipulation tactic, and do not let it get under your skin. When you must interact with them, set firm boundaries. Use clear, simple, and unemotional language. A technique called gray rocking can be very effective. This means you become as uninteresting and unresponsive as a gray rock. Give short, boring answers. Do not share personal information. Do not show emotion, whether it is anger or sympathy. This deprives them of the narcissistic supply, the emotional reaction that they are seeking. For example, if they start a victim tirade, you can say, "I'm sorry you feel that way," and change the subject or walk away. You are not agreeing with them, but you are also not fighting them. It is crucial to build a strong support system outside of your relationship with the narcissist. Talk to trusted friends, family, or a therapist who understands narcissistic abuse. These people can validate your experiences and remind you that you are not crazy. The narcissist's goal is to isolate you so that their version of reality is the only one you hear. Having outside perspectives is a powerful antidote to their gaslighting. Keep a journal of events as they happen. Writing things down can help you see the patterns of manipulation more clearly and will reinforce your own perception of reality when you start to doubt it. Finally, remember that there is hope. You cannot change a narcissist, but you can change how you respond to them, and if necessary, you can choose to remove them from your life. Prioritizing your own mental health and safety is not selfish. It is necessary for survival and healing. For every person trapped in the fog of a narcissistic relationship, there is a path out into the clear air. It takes courage to see the truth and strength to set boundaries, but you deserve to live a life free from constant manipulation and blame. You are not the problem, and you have the power to protect your peace.